Sometimes you only meet a man so you can marry his brother. So the year was about 1987, and I remember going around the corner from where I live. We had just moved to the area. I went around the corner to the store to get some snacks. So while I was there, I saw this guy, and he was with some friends, and he was trying to holler so hard that when I got my stuff, grabbed my bag, he left the store, didn't even buy anything, and followed me back around the corner to my house. And I don't remember if I gave him my number, but we were hanging, not really dating, and that consisted of me sitting on the front steps to my mom's house, and we'd be chatting into the night. Sometimes we would go to a movie, sometimes we would go for a drive in the city, and he was good looking, but I wasn't looking for anything serious at that time. I was hanging out with multiple people, but to say that he looked like Gerald Levert would be an understatement. So fast forward, there was another day, and I went around the corner to get another snack because I'm the snack girly and I love to always have a nice, good snack around me. So I went to the store, and when I went around the corner, he was there, but he wasn't alone. Again, he was never alone. He was with his brother. So he introduced me to his brother. He wanted his brother to meet me. So I gave his brother a dry hello because, back then I wasn't like, like, who are you and what is this even about? We were all standing there in a very awkward moment because when I gave his brother that dry hello, I'm looking and he's just grinning at me, like grinning, like, he knew some deep, dark secret. And when the guy I was hanging with noticed how hard his brother was grinning, he was like, okay, that's enough, let's go. So maybe about 6 months, well, 3 to 6 months later, I ran into his brother again, the one that was grinning at me like crazy. I ran into him on the 6 train, and he was reading the anthology that Terry McMillan put out. I think it was called Breaking Ice. So he was reading that book, and I'm a reading girly. I love a good book and a good snack at the same time. So I asked him, I said, when you're finished reading that, can I read it next? I put my home number and my work number inside the flap of the book, and that was that. He never called me about the book or anything else. He moved, his brother got married, he got married, I random dated, then I relocated, I got married. Then fast forward to 2006, I found myself separated, pending divorce. I was content to be single and not having to consider someone else every single day of my life for the rest of my life. So I was good. My sister, she knew his cousin, and one day I ended up on the phone with his cousin because his cousin called my sister, but my sister was busy and she didn't want to talk at the moment. She didn't really want to talk. So I was telling the cousin about my books, my website, me being on book tour, everything that I was doing, and he went back and told the brother, the one who was grinning on the corner, all about what I was up to, that I was writing books, and he gave him my website. He had the audacity to email me. And in the email, he's trying to refresh my memory to see if I remembered him and who he was. But how could I remember him? He was standing on the corner grinning at me like a fool, and yeah, I know who you are. So I did something that I never do. I gave him my number again. I say again because you don't get multiple chances to get access to me. Fast forward to a week or two, and even after I gave him my number the second time, I still did not hear from him. Like, what the what? Side eye. Side eye. I remember waking up one morning a little agitated about the whole situation. I had been in a season of deep prayer, and I heard the Lord clearly say, message him. I looked around perplexed because I'm like, surely, Lord, you're not talking to me. You're not telling me to message the one who got 2 chances already. But I always want the blessings that obedience brings. So I messaged him, but God didn't say I couldn't be sarcastic. I said, you must really be busy. He replied, Never too busy for you. Yeah, part 2 is coming. Okay, so this is part 2 of Meet a Guy and Marry His Brother. If you did not watch part 1 yet, go back and watch part 1 because this story kind of flows. You don't want to come in at the end, go back to the beginning. Here we go. I am a master of minding my own business, but that smooth, never too busy for you took me clean out. That one statement turned into thousands of messages, poetry, and conversations back and forth that we both look forward to every single day. And I didn't even really know if I was ready for that because I was a random dater, I didn't tolerate nonsense, and I was really good at pushing people away. The majority of the time, pushing people away worked because the inclination that people have when you push them away is to back up. And he was one of the first guys that pushed back and said, no, this is really going to happen. He made it clear that he was here to stay. So I found out at the time he was divorced, I was divorced. He was mature and I was mature too. So that was a green flag in my book. I have relocated to North Carolina and he had relocated from the Bronx, where I met him standing on the corner grinning like that, to a part of New Jersey. Random dating can jade you. And I say that because genuine love can feel unfamiliar when there's no frame of reference for it in your life. But he was delicate with my emotions. He didn't speak harshly to me. Our conversations didn't segue into sex. And during every conversation, we would end it with prayer. We prayed. So prayer was like the culmination of everything we had talked about on the phone. We would end that with prayer because whatever we were building, we wanted to be sealed by God. At first, I was praying all the time because he said, I like it when you pray. But then one evening when we got off the phone, the Lord said he needs to start praying. So I told him that. God said, you need to pray. And he did it. He just picked up the mantle and was like, okay. So he would pray, I would pray. We were covered in prayer. We both started to like where it was going. Okay, I'm lying. We loved where it was going. We loved it. And all of this was huge for me. Like I said, it was such a paradigm shift from what I was used to. And then one night on the phone, we were having our regular conversations about various things, and he did it. He did it. He simply said, will you marry me? I'm thinking, what? Like, you remember a girl that doesn't even exist anymore. I'm not even the same person I was on the website, meaning my pictures and the photos that he had looked at. We at this point had not even seen each other face to face. But I'm saying all of this in my head. I wasn't saying this to him. I was saying it in my head, like, does he know what he's asking for? Does he know what he's about to get? Because I can be a handful. Listen, you have to be honest about who you are and what you are. And I know I'm a handful. I know I'm not always easy to deal with, but guess what? He was up for the challenge and he wasn't playing about it. And here's the thing. I did not know, because I had just ended something, I did not know if I even wanted to be married again. But I knew that I didn't want to be without him. So we planned a meetup that would be a say it to my face type of deal. Everything you're saying on the phone, say it to me face to face type of deal. And as soon as we prayed, as soon as we said goodnight, I hung up the phone and I started packing. Started packing my cutest outfit, mentally pulling it together in my head because I knew that's what I wanted to wear to go to meet him. I booked the flight and started counting down the days. You know, when you're dying to go somewhere, even if it's just on a vacation, the week, the days just move so slow. And that week was just a slow move for me. And I couldn't wait for the next week to come when it would be time to get on that plane, go to New Jersey, and see what this dude was really about in person. So I got to the airport and everything was going good. Then an announcement came over the loudspeaker that our flight was delayed. After an hour, then the announcement came over the system saying that the flight was delayed again. So I called him and I told him the dilemma. I told him what was going on. And he said, you know what, rather than sitting in the airport waiting for all those hours, just go back, reschedule your flight. And I was hungry. I hadn't eaten. My stomach was grumbling. I had on high heels and I really couldn't see myself walking all through the airport trying to find something to eat. So I had a dilemma on my hand. Do I take his advice and reschedule the flight, or do I sit there in the airport and wait and wait? And I didn't know how long that wait would be. So what do you think I did? Because part 3 is coming. It's coming. So this is part 3. So if you guessed that I stayed in the airport and didn't turn back around and go home, you are absolutely right. There was no way I was doing that. No way. All I knew is that the feelings I was having were new, they were difficult to shake, and I just wanted to see if we can do this thing forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. So my stomach was grumbling and I didn't even want to take a moment thinking I might miss the flight, like everybody would board without me. I didn't even want to go and find something to eat. I was nervous, but it wasn't about flying because I had flown before. I'm used to flying places, but the nervousness came because I had been disappointed a lot in life. So I wanted to know, is this really real? Is just telephone talk? What's the deal? So for the entire flight, I had to force myself to breathe. I was telling myself stuff like, girl, calm down. Girl, you got this. Girl, what's the worst that can happen? And I don't know why I thought that last thing. But when I stepped off the plane at Newark Airport, I called him to find out exactly where in the airport he was. I could feel myself literally shaking. And he said, well, I'm at the baggage claim and I'm looking all around trying to find the arrows pointing me to that area. I was walking as fast as I could in those high heels and I was fishing in my bag for my sunglasses at the same time. Yes, sunglasses in the airport in the winter. I put my sunglasses on, I hugged the escalator, and I tried to look around discreetly, trying to pinpoint exactly where he was with my sunglasses, thinking that because I have my sunglasses on, he wouldn't be able to notice that I'm looking around trying to find him. I spotted him and instantly my heart started racing. It started racing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really getting ready to do this. I'm like, there was no one around to give me a pep talk, none of that. So I had to just put an H on my chest and handle it. He spotted me and he smiled that big, bright, white smile, the same smile that he gave me standing on the corner when we met that day. I tried to calm myself down as I walked towards him, but before I knew it, we were locked in an embrace and a kiss that had the entire airport spinning. I'm not lying. It was something like out of a movie. And when we gathered ourselves, we turned around and realized we had an audience. So everyone who was down there trying to get their bags from baggage claim were looking at us. They were smiling, they were grinning. They could feel the love that we had for each other. And, they were just celebrating it. I mean, it was wild. We walked hand in hand to his car and he buckled me in and turned on the heated seats. And he still turns on the heated seats all these years later, every single time it's cold outside and I get into the car. I buckle myself in and next thing I know, the heat is on my seat. And it just takes me back to the moment he did the first thing he did and has been consistently doing it ever since. The weekend was full of amazing food, amazing food. We were chatting. He took me to see various sites in New Jersey. And not to mention, every single thing that I mentioned that I liked when it comes to snacks that we talked about on the phone, he remembered and bought every single one of those things. Can I shout out my super attentive man? A dozen roses and a cute little cat stuffy later, I never wanted to go back home. I never wanted to go back home. But before I left, he said it to my face, "Will you marry me?" He didn't have a ring, but he had God's blessing. And I said yes, because I knew that he was a man that I could trust. And from that day forward, he kept calling me Mrs. Holland, Mrs. Holland. And he continued to call me that up until that January in 2008, when we were married in his former pastor's office, where we said, "I do." It wasn't the spectacular thing that you see on social media, but it was me, it was him, God was there, and we had a couple of witnesses. And it was the best display of love and commitment that I have ever shared with anybody. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was wearing a black and white polka dot dress, and it was 10 degrees outside. We didn't even have a honeymoon. We went home and we made turkey and cheese sandwiches, and they were the best sandwiches ever. And here we are 18 years just about later, believing God for every single day and every moment of our lives. I have a little box with keepsakes, and this is the cute little stuffy that was on the dozen roses that he bought me the first time we came together face to face. And the rose petals are somewhere, but here is the card, and it simply says, "To the future of the two of us becoming one, with all my love, Calvin." If I could share one thing with you about finding love and letting love last, it would be follow God's prompts, follow his instructions. If I never messaged him, we wouldn't have started the back and forth conversation. I could have easily been stuck in my pride because I'm thinking, well, why do I have to be the one to call him? But because of my obedience, God blessed me with the best thing ever.